Hi everybody, welcome to a new edition of Let's Talk About Education with Antonio Corrales. We have talked before in this show about the impact of different educational programs in students' life. We have talked about options that students may have to develop their careers. But what does it mean to teach the students how to code and how to develop robots? How to immerse themselves in the world of robotics? Well, today I have the honor to be surrounded by professionals in the University of Houston Clear Lake who basically do that. They help students and new professionals in the robotic world and how to design and how to become proficient in this area. I'm gonna let them introduce yourself first, and then I'm gonna start asking them questions. We'll start here.
You want me? All right. I'm Dr.Harman. I'm the chair of the engineering department here at University of Houston at Clear Lake, and I'm the director of the Center for Robotics software. So our area is robots and robotic applications in this laboratory.
So,
I am Luong Nguyen. I'm a faculty in the computer engineering department. I teach classes in robotics and computer vision.
awesome.
And I'm Carol Fairchild. I am a visiting researcher here at University of Houston Clear Lake and the co-director of the Center for Robotic Software.
That's fantastic. Well, I usually start the show by allowing the interviewers to kind of, in a brief way, tell the audience. We usually seen by superintendents, current school teachers, school principals, and students. How do you get to where you are in your career? So why don't we start here? How do you get to where you are? How was your trajectory?
Well, my undergraduate background was electrical engineering, and my graduate background was electrical engineering. I worked a lot with control systems, and in the last few years, robotics have become a really important area, as I think is obvious to everyone, and that was sort of a natural transition or a natural fit. So your students need to be fairly good in coding and math and physics, and then I think the engineering will come.
Awesome. Awesome. What about you? How do you get to where you are?
I started working at the Johnson Space Center in the space program since 1977, and in the early 1990s, I got a chance to cooperate with Dr. Harman in teaching robotics classes here as an adjunct professor. And then about 3 years ago, Dr. Harman bought the Baxter robot system, and he wanted me to cooperate again. And I thought that was a chance for me to go full-time into academic area environment. So I applied for a faculty position here, and it was hired into the university.
Awesome. That's fantastic. What about you, Carol?
My background is engineering technology, a lot of hands-on engineering, and just loved robots from pretty much the earliest time. I had a Heathkit robot that I built back in the 80s, and just have really wanted to work in robotics. So when Baxter was bought and the center was established, this is just like my dream.
Exactly. Well,
Perhaps you want to show Baxter. He's
this is
hiding
Baxter,
in the
guys.
background.
He probably won't introduce himself. But basically, what can you tell us a little bit about Baxter?
Well, Baxter is a special robot. He's called a cooperative robot. That means you can work around Baxter and he won't harm you. Now, Baxter, the people who developed Baxter actually started the company iRobot, and those are the folks that brought you the Roomba carpet cleaner, vacuum cleaner, and so forth.
Exactly.
Baxter has cameras, he has sensors, he has vision capability. Now, one of the things that we might mention that's happened recently, the company that made Baxter has gone out of business in the US, but a German company has taken over the intellectual property rights to some of their patents and so on. They also make a robot called Sawyer, which is a one-armed robot.
That
But
is
in this lab, we work with flying robots, mobile robots, Baxter, and our students have participated in NASA competitions, a number of competitions. In fact, Dr. Nguyen and Carol have been really involved in that also at Kennedy Space Center.
That is fantastic, because one of the, we're an educational channel, and a lot of professionals, a lot of teachers and principals that may be looking at us right now, may be wondering, what is the appropriate age to start with robotics and programming and all that things. What is your take? What is your opinion in all that? I'll start with you, Carol. In terms of, first of all, what would be the ideal age, and what are the best ways for a regular educator that may be looking at us right now to start a robotic program in their institution?
Okay, so good question, because I have started kids as early as kindergarten on robotics.
Yeah.
A whole lot of fun. They are just playing, but they are learning such concepts that are going to carry them through their whole careers. So there are robots out there now, Dash and Dot, Ozobot, a whole lot of different lines of robots that are very simple, but they can be incorporated into the curriculum so that the kids are learning concepts, but they're playing with these robots. And it's kind of a great learning tool and a learning process.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just if
The earlier the better.
The earlier the better. And I know that there are a lot of programs that NASA sponsor, and also other institutions like Lego League or
Exactly.
that these students have to develop missions and have to accomplish certain tasks
Right.
through basic robotics programming, right?
Mhm. And what they learn through that is they learn to focus on what they like. So they might not like the hardware part of it, they might like the programming part of it. Or they might not like the programming part of it, but like the concept of things going together and working. So those are really good programs for kids to get involved in.
What about the programming part of the equation? What do you think, what do you perceive as the biggest challenges that students have when having to learn how to programming or how to like the coding?
Yeah, the thing about programming is there are so many different programming languages, and once you learn, when the person learns how to do the program, and has been working on a specific language for a long time, could be a decade or so, it's difficult to switch over to a new language.
Getting used to another language too.
Yes, but the evolution of programming language is based on the technology, the need of the technology. And right now in the robotics field, we have Python and C++ are the most popular programming language,
yes.
and those are all object-oriented programming languages. And unless you learn the concept of object-oriented, it's hard to learn those languages, to master those languages. But those languages, I believe, are very important, and there's a great demand for good programmers in those languages, and we just can't find enough of them.
Absolutely. So you're a institution here at the University of Houston, Corrales. A lot of people know you. You have developed a lot of what we have nowadays in the university. Let me start by asking you, what are your vision for the future in terms of robotics for students? Because you guys, you have trained a lot of students throughout the years.
Thousands, actually.
Thousands.
I've got an award for some thousands of students.
Correct.
Because I've been here a long time.
So my question to you is, what are the challenges that you have, that you usually, the common challenge that you see of students who have no idea about robotics and they start getting into here, and what is your vision for where the robotics world is going to take us within the next 10 years?
Well, I would think if we look at the undergraduate students for the moment, it's clearly a basic background in, of course, mathematics, a programming language, and the foundations. Where some of the robotics is moving is toward machine learning and artificial intelligence for self-driving cars, for example. That's a new area that's just opened up within the last few years. So that's another, there's a lot to learn, in other words. So we have undergraduate course in in robotics, and we would like to enlarge that program to have some other courses. Courses, undergraduate engineers these days have so much to take and so much to learn. It's difficult to
Absorb everything
yes,
so far.
yeah.
What about the jobs? Because I mean, a lot of the students who may be looking at, or even educators in the pre-K through 12 world, maybe wanting to advise students in terms of, okay, you're gonna get computer science, you're gonna get in programming, you're gonna get in robotics. What type of job opportunity do you see for our students who are in the program, are looking to graduate in computer science in general? What is the job market for them looking at?
It's great.
Looks pretty good. Our students have gone to Amazon, Intel, Ford, number of other companies,
NASA.
local companies, Houston
Mechatronics.
Mechatronics. They're working on underwater robots. Track Labs is another. Some of our former students are working there. We have internships. It's primarily for graduate students, but not necessarily. Undergraduates can have opportunities. But I think the job market is pretty strong. I was at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas just in January, and I talked to people from John Deere. They make these big tractors and things. And they were looking for experts in robotics and the robot operating system language, because they're putting cameras on these combines, these big tractors, and so that when there's spraying of a field, that you spray the right things to kill weeds but not kill the crop and so on. So they're big simulators of these tractors. So that's again a robotics application. And of course here we're next to NASA. We have the Robonaut, and a lot of people in this area are interested.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, to kind of finalize, what advice do you give to teachers or students and administrators, educators in general, who are looking at us right now, and they want to start a programming program in their schools, and they're looking towards immersing students somehow, some way in the computer science world? What is your advice, general advice for those educators out there?
Well, there is a lot out on the internet, but code.org is the main site for developing just a plan on how to teach students how to code. It'll take you from very fundamental things all the way up as far as you want to go to learn to code in multiple languages. So that's a really good resource, and there's others out there on the internet. So
That is fantastic.
And for high schools, you would have the first robotic competition, which is probably the best known for up the juniors and seniors in
They
high
usually
schools.
have different missions, right? That they have to
Right.
accomplish during the year.
Exactly.
I remember one
They
year
play
they
a
did like
game.
an environmental one.
Right. And it's in Houston. They have some of the ends of the competition in Houston.
the World Championship.
World
is hosted.
Championship is this year, right?
Yes.
And yes. So NASA and Exxon and companies support that. They donate and so on. So it's any high school can get into this, and they should. And there's machining involved. There's obviously programming. There's robotics. So it's pretty exciting.
Well, one of the things that you guys said that I think is important is because a lot of school administrators, principals, and superintendents are worried about student performance and the standardized testing. And one of the great things about computer science and the robotic world is that you immerse several core subjects when you're working with these subject, talking about math, talking about science, talking
Right.
about physics,
Mhm.
and so you're gonna be directly or indirectly impacting other core subjects while you're doing
Of
computer
course,
science.
that's right.
And that's something that I think is important for educators and administrators out there to think about, because you're not going to be taking time from other course subjects, but you're going to be expanding the concept in other course subjects.
Well, most of these contests and these things require proposals. You have to learn to write a bit, and to write up the results, so forth. There are prizes in a number of these competitions. So I wouldn't forget the English, the humanities, and so forth. People who want a good job need to present themselves well. They need to be enthusiastic as well as knowledgeable.
Correct.
Knowledge will come with the course, the effort, and so on, but then the
Correct.
enthusiasm is like these youngsters who were just here. Is for a lot of them, it's obvious that you really have to like this stuff to be good at it. It
Correct.
takes a lot of work, and there's no sense kidding anybody that it's easy,
Correct.
you know.
That's fantastic. I want to thank you one more time for being here
Okay.
today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to tell our audience out there who are looking at us, remember that we have this video and many other videos in Antonio Corrales' YouTube channel. Let's talk about education with Antonio Corrales and Sterling Evaluation and Assessment.com. Please help somebody today, and see you next time.
All right, let me
Went out of business. Good job. It was started by Rodney Brooks, who started iRobot, who bring you the Roomba vacuum cleaner. In fact, if you look at the base of the Turtlebot when we get it out, wherever it hid away, the original one was actually a Roomba base that they hacked into to control the Turtlebot.
So, like, that the Kinect can see in 3D instead of like our regular USB cameras, just
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah.
They have them advertising and everything.
Yeah, so they have it like at the Consumer Electronics Show, right?
Right, I wrote on a suitcase, if you really want to go all the way,